organizations, Rebecca Sterling and Arif Aziz. And I want to thank John Garamendi for telling you to register to vote, because otherwise this is just an excursion on a Sunday afternoon. Look, I want to do something that is sort of atypical maybe for political rallies. Something rather different from that last debate. Let's go back to facts. The people that asked questions in debates used to be called moderators, and they were supposed to like ring a bell or something when somebody said something that wasn't so. And the bell never rang, so we're going to ring the bell today. The first thing I want to say is, if you look at this crowd and you look at these guys, you see what America is about. We have standing on the stage 4 people who believe for very different reasons that a country of we're all in this together works way better than a country of you're on your own. A country of shared prosperity with a growing middle class and where poor people have a dignified, honorable chance to work their way into it is way better than trickle down. And a government that focuses on the future instead of giving away everything to the powerful in the present works better. That's what they believe. Why? Well, first you've got Mr. Garamendi, who was my Deputy Secretary of the Interior. He protected the environment for you when I was president. And his wife worked over at the Peace Corps to promote service around the world so people could see America's best face. Because we know in our party we have to be strong, but you can't kill, jail, or occupy all your enemies in an interdependent world. We need a world with more partners and fewer enemies. Before that, he was a Basque farmer with the big... were damaged by what in common parlance are called roadside bombs. Their brains were badly shaken, and now hundreds of thousands of these veterans have come home to us with traumatic brain injuries. Some of them are obvious and painfully paralyzing to them. Some of them are less obvious, but they still cause empowerment. We have a profound obligation to them. Whatever you thought about either one of those conflicts, every one of those young men and women has a right to begin their lives again. And this man has done more than anybody else to give them that chance. And then you have Jose Hernandez, who started out in a family of migrant farm workers, got all the way to graduate school, went to work at the Livermore National Lab, worked on nuclear non-proliferation in Russia, one of the great success stories of the last 20 years. And for every woman here, played a major role in developing what is called full-field digital mammography, which is another way of saying there's a lot more women who survive breast cancer today because of what he did. President Obama has faced roadblock after roadblock after roadblock in the last 2 years, but thanks in no small measure to the initiatives adopted in the first 2 years of his presidency, and then there are those other like pesky numbers. 420? When President Obama's opponent said, well, it's time for a new approach. and I was governor of Massachusetts, and we had a great education system. I thought, you know, I was governor of Arkansas, and we were the #1 rice producer in America, but I didn't have anything to do with it. Let me be fair here. What he really said was,
I'm a dumbass.
We're going to start by cutting everybody's taxes 20%, but don't worry, I'll make it up by repealing deductions. Problem is, high enough, you can take all the deductions away and you still get a big tax cut. So we're going to dig the debt hole deeper before we start pulling our way out of it. That was obscured in that debate. But I'll just tell you something. You can say, oh, well, Clinton says one thing, the Republican that actually has published a budget on the internet. Yeah. You can go and look at it. They have been making promises for two. Now, I sympathize with the Republicans because they worked really hard on their #1 priority, which was to keep unemployment above 8% until the election. And it's disappointing when you work hard for 3 years and 8 to 9 months on something, and you get it there, almost get there to the finish line, and poof, turns out the American people are so good in these energy policies and the rescue of the automobile industry and all these other things are working so well, you just can't quite get it done. And in spite of your finest efforts, which include 700,000 teachers, police officers, firefighters, and nurses who lost their jobs because the president's energy jobs plan was not passed in the last year. In spite of all of it, it still went down below 8%. I understand why they're heartbroken, but it's good news for America, and it proves that a clean energy, modern economy, that a manufacturing economy with 500,000 new manufacturing jobs, 250,000 of them in the automobile industry, because of a restructuring plan which the Republican nominee opposed and opposes to this day. He said we should have let them go. It would have cost those 200 auto companies that didn't get the help were for the legislation, because they know we're all in this together. It works a lot better than you're on your own. You need to support the president and these members of Congress. They adopted it in 2010 and 2011. First of all, a record number of insurance companies asked to participate in the Medicare Advantage program, which Governor Romney said is going to cost 25% of the people their coverage because the insurance companies won't participate. They forgot to get the talking points. Turned out they were in business, and they looked at the arithmetic. And they decided, since they were still getting about 114% of what regular Medicare got, they'd keep on giving the service. Then, 17% increase in the number of people in the program. They didn't get the talking points. And then, most unbelievably of all, the co-pays and deductible, the price of being in it for ordinary people, dropped 16%. Now, I don't know about you, but I think when more companies want to provide a health service, when more people want to get into it, and when it costs them less to take advantage of it, that sounds like success to me, not disaster. Now, why, in the face of this evident truth, why do they keep running these ads? Follow the money. It's because